WTOL-TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Just another day on the job for a YMCA worker.
Until she came across this.
Were set up and students were painting welcome signs.
It wasn't quite the thrill of the open road, more like the parking lot of Perrysburg Commons.
It will make its debut.
Just about the only event making news today.
2,000 carryout orders were handled.
Welcome to the WTOL 11 Vault with me, Dan Cummins. It's our streaming show where we dive into the archives to bring you stories you won't see anywhere else. From a different summer trip to Put-in-Bay, to Trekkies taking over Delta, and the fun of fairs, festivals, even a backyard water park. Get out those bright colors, strap on that fanny pack, and don't forget the mom jeans. We're opening the vault to summertime in the 90s.
Beam me up.
So here we are talking summertime in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan in the 90s. I'm Dan Cummins and glad Jeff Smith could join us again.
Dan, I'm glad to be here. I find myself just kind of mesmerized watching when all that video goes by and also reliving how big the hair was for musicians in the 1990s. One of the things that you love when the sun's out is to zip your way over to Put-in-Bay.
Oh, yeah, Put-in-Bay. It's fantastic. Boardwalk for lunch, Frosty's Pizza for dinner, and all that music and the bars.
Right. Just to name a few, Put-in-Bay is where we're going to start our journey today. Let's go back in the time machine. It's September of 1991, and even then, the island was a place to party because of what Dan was just saying.
The bars, the nightlife, tourists in from all over. There's also plenty of history on the island. Perry's victory to the International Peace Memorial in the 90s, a piece of history docked at the Great Lakes Island for all to see, including Toledo 11's Dick Berry. Watch.
The Battle of Lake Erie is long over, but a ghost of the famous clash still sails off the South Bass Island coast.
Hold, starboard to gallant brace, make fast, sweat, home.
A replica of the U.S. brig Niagara warship is about to dock at Put-in-Bay. In 1813, Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry resoundingly defeated the British naval fleet while at the helm of the Niagara.
Well, the battle was an important one for us in that it secured the lakes and the western territories for the U.S. for the remainder of the War of 1812.
After this victorious and historic turning point, Perry commented, "We have faced the enemy, and they are ours."
Just make sure that doesn't fall in
The Niagara is operated by the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission. 7 officers oversee a volunteer crew of 32 out of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Part of their learning how to sail a ship is they have to end up doing things the old way, and it's a hell of a lot of work.
And you better believe it. Hoisting sails is not what it's cut out to be for some of these volunteers who left their jobs for a week-long and free journey on Lake Erie.
It's fun, but I can't see myself doing this on a continuous basis. You know, I think it would get, I think it would get a little bit monotonous after a little while.
They would have had around 150 people on board, and plus you'd have people shooting at you all the time while you're sailing.
You nervous? Does this hurt? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to use this.
While the Niagara is a replica, everything is real about this. Ear-piercing time for teenager Mike Camholes. It's the nautical thing to do. Maybe he's had one too many shots of rum.
Oh, nothing at all. Just a couple shots of high C, I guess.
Commodore Perry also once said, "Don't give up the ship." I wonder if young Mike may have to give up the earring when he gets back home to mom.
Let's get a headline ready to go. Pass me the heaving line.
Dick Berry, Toledo 11 News, Put-in-Bay.
Yeah, it looked like fun till the shooting started.
Right, absolutely. And then talking about 150 being on board at one time. A little claustrophobic, huh?
Yeah. All right, let's talk movies now, Jeff. What's your favorite 90s movie?
I was thinking about this. I'd probably have to say Pulp Fiction, just because I remember going to the theater to see that, and what an experience it was, because it was so different at the time.
I agree. I looked up top movies of the 90s. Schindler's List.
Okay.
Goodfellas. Fargo. Pulp Fiction. And The Big Lebowski. I mean, that's a murderer's row right there. Some really quality films.
Before I started to click in with the date, I kept like erring toward 80s films, that kind of thing, like Shawshank Redemption. That comes to mind too. I don't know if that was the 90s or the 80s, to tell you the truth.
I don't think it was, because it wasn't, because that definitely would have been amongst the top 50 or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Now, it was Terminator 2 Judgment Day, topping the box office September 1991. Then a few months later came the newest release for the Trekkies.
And did you see, were you a Trekkie at all?
I loved Star Trek early on, but I've kind of lost interest.
So there was a fourth film. I think there was maybe a seventh film as well. But Star Trek 6, let me get my Roman numerals correct. The Undiscovered Country, when it dropped in theaters in December of '91. It never hit #1 at the box office, but it did set a franchise record for the largest opening weekend at the time of its release, earning $18.1 million in its first 3 days. And even before it came out, fans were showing up out in Delta. So once again, Dick Berry on the case.
Passing through the Guardian of Forever Gate is an arena alien named Gorn. He's here to finally settle a dispute with a man he claims has crossed into his sector of space.
And I'm out to get Captain Kirk.
There you go.
He says I'm the bad guy, but he is the bad guy.
Don and Pam Chanteau are throwing an intergalactic bash to celebrate the anniversary of Star Trek's TV debut. They found if you airbrush the side of your barn with a painting of the Starship Enterprise, they will come. Trekkies, that is.
Get off the highway here, and they come in, they stand in front of the barn, they have their wives or parents or whoever take their pictures in front of it, and we're sort of used to it now.
The Chanteau's front yard is a tribute to Trek. A furry Mookatube hides in a tree. A hungry Hortup gobbles up another innocent miner. And a space pod has crashed with some of those troublesome tribbles. To Pam, the cult show represents a positive, peaceful image of the future.
There's hope. There is hope. There's hope for people. There's hope for mankind. That as bad as it may look, that people are essentially good.
A Captain Kirk impersonator is here.
Because he's the one with all the power, and I have a big head.
Big head? Now here's a guy with a big head, but this Telosian isn't too happy.
I don't know, I'm not a Star Trek fan.
You're not a Star Trek fan?
No.
Then why are you dressed like that?
My parents made me do it.
I know Star Trek Gathering would be complete without a little bit of a Romulan ale. Cheers. Oh, actually, it's a margarita. Beam me up.
The sound effect is classic.
It's probably him.
Right, in the mic, trying to make it sound like it.
Oh, man.
Toledo has prided itself on offering more and more things to do in recent summers, but there has always been stuff happening this time of the year.
From hunting to cooling off the water, even puppets and frisbee golf. The 90s may not have had a lot of structure, but there was plenty happening.
Casey. Labrador retrievers have a knack for finding things and bringing them back to their owners. That burning desire makes them ideal for retrieving prey for hunters.
Heel up, another bird, loose.
Owners are putting their dogs through the paces in a simulated hunting test at Crane Creek. It may take years for a starter dog like Casey to learn the ropes. Younger puppies may not have the instincts of a veteran retriever, but trainers are just looking for a dog with a love for the chase.
Having them fetch anything, it could be a screwdriver, it could be a rolled up rag or whatever. Just get them to enjoy the game. And then after a while, you get them out here and it's like, oh, okay, we've done this at home, and they'll drive right out for it.
Here, come on.
Older dogs learn to search the water's surface according to directions shouted from shore.
Left, left,
A retriever like Smokey may cost $200 to $500 as a pup, but after training, his owner says he's worth as much as $3,000. Longtime duck hunter Marty Madrowski has been training his yellow lab, Smokey, for the past 8 years. A special bond has developed.
Not only the relationship with me, but it's with my wife. And I've got a granddaughter that he's just super with, that he was raised with, and I think that has a lot to do with his temperament.
Duck hunting season is just around the corner, and the retrievers are chomping at the bit.
Give that up, boy.
For CBS News, Jack Shea near Oak Harbor, Ohio.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They got the moves.
6, 7.
Even the attitude.
We're purple. We won. Yeah. Woo!
But this energetic bunch is missing one very important thing: uniforms. They're hoping this water park will raise enough money to get those uniforms. They already know exactly what they want.
Well, they're going to be little. Something? Stop it. They're going to.
I'll let Jessica answer.
Yeah, thank you. All right. They're going to be like vest kind of things, and they'll go down that. And then we have bodysuits. Bodysuits when it's cold. Yeah, and they have stripes down them.
Meet twins Samantha and Jessica Early. Describing what their cheerleading outfit should look like is about the only thing they agree on. Being on the same team and in the same family isn't always easy.
It's competition most of the times, but sometimes we try to help each other. Yeah, and it's fun. She helped me with the groove thing, and I help her with more athletic. Yeah. Hold on.
Their coach, Teresa Graven, keeps a close eye on the sister rivalry.
Red, white, and blue. Yeah.
In and out of their 2-hour practices. Samantha and Jessica not only call her coach, they call her mom.
So I thought, well, what's a way that I can be a part of their lives without tagging along? So by becoming the cheerleading coach, which was a position they needed at Blessed Sacrament, I'm able to be here with them when they do things like this and get involved. And
She does really cool stuff. Everyone loves her. Yeah, we always have fun. Okay, go that way.
The twins agree, and so does everyone else. Carly Walker, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
And we interrupt this program to bring you a special news report.
It's an age-old story with a modern-day twist.
What are you doing, Strawberry?
First off, my name isn't Strawberry. It's Red.
Red Riding Hood has a new script that makes her Little Red.
I like it because we get to be involved with the kids, and we get to play with the puppets inside and make our own scripts and just have fun.
It's a message between the lines these child puppeteers want to get across to these kids.
It just kind of shows that not everything is the way it seems, and it kind of gives kids a message not to trust every stranger they meet.
Sounds like Red should have listened to Brittany Long's new version of Mom.
I think the one in the story, she was just nice, but I made her more strict and
her voice for it.
Red! Something else struck a chord with the audience.
I like the music.
The shows are free, but organizers say city park funds and a donation from Marco's Pizza only go so far. This trailer, for example, dates back to the 70s.
And eventually we will need some grant money or money to support the vehicle, especially as time starts to erode away.
But judging from these smiles, you'd never know it, the way these kids are having fun.
The way they got something for kids to do.
And teaching William Hull to make a puppet shows having fun is downright contagious.
Hi, Mom.
Janice Lane, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
Hope it rolls pretty straight towards the basket.
Oh.
Get some distance that way. Game's kind of lacking there.
Sounds like his golf game is a little off.
That's looking good.
But on this course, his score is not the only thing not quite adding up right.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Meet a group of guys who take a different approach to the game of golf.
Basically, the psychology is the same. You have your drives, you have your approaches, and you have your putts. You got to put them in.
That'll make up for that not birdie in the last one.
But what goes in Not a small white ball, but rather a frisbee. And forget flagpoles, these guys aim for shiny baskets in the game of disc golf.
Oh, I see it. Between the two trees here, you can see it.
You release each disc with a little bit different angle. You kind of have to know your discs that way, so you kind of get to know all your discs, and for each shot, depending on the trees and stuff, you would have a different disc and a different shot.
A lot like golf clubs, but you won't find this game at country clubs. That's for people who wear collared shirts, something these guys like to do without. But what they do have down to a T, having fun.
Shoot with your friends and try to beat their scores and try to beat the course scores. And the ultimate goal is that hole-in-one.
Oh, good shot, Mike.
And like the classic golf game, the course has its obstacles. And lucky for them, no sand traps. Carly Walker, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
Funny enough, you move it ahead to modern day, and we just had this week just a national finalist at disc golf here locally in Northwest Ohio.
Ever play that?
I've played a few times. I prefer regular golf to disc golf.
We like to play golf.
Yes. Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan are home to some great county fairs, of course.
For Wood County, there are some things that have always stood out. But in 1992, it was all about the rodeo. Now, we know and love the milkshakes and pork-a-lean at Wood County, but look at that crowd that came out in August 23 years ago to see some real-life cowboys.
And of course, after the fair comes the iconic National Tractor Pulling Championships, no different in the 90s than today. So I guess we go to fair food.
Yeah.
And I've got to answer, oh my gosh.
Favorite fair food?
I would say, I can tell you what it's not. It's not elephant ears.
I agree.
My parents took me to one fair one time. I ate them, got so sick, probably because of the overload of sugar. Corn dogs are okay, in moderation.
Yeah, I haven't eaten a corn dog in years. Elephant ears look disgusting. I'll just go with the real nice, the milkshake.
The milkshake.
If I'm going to eat something.
Especially at the Wood County Fair.
At the Wood County Fair.
Yes.
Now, there's no shortage of great fairs and festivals across our area. It's unbelievable. From the Pemberville Free Fair to the Bratwurst Festival in Bucyrus. And don't forget the Strawberry Festival in Holland. Or the Greek Fest in North Toledo has been the case for at least the past 3 decades.
Old and young alike savor the taste, sights, and sounds of a fair. It's the Pemberville Free Fair. Everyone knows the favorite attractions.
The Ferris wheel, the scrambler, jumping thing.
While the opinions may differ, but the feeling is the same.
Our goal is to keep up with the times and to offer as much as we possibly can, and it's all free.
The overwhelming favorites are the rides. People get carried away. When the rides take their toll, fairgoers try to beat barters at their own game. A younger generation enjoys the rides and the games.
G47.
Several people sit to a favorite pastime.
Why do you guys like coming to the fair?
For the food. While some youngsters stuff their faces with cotton candy and caramel apples, other children showcase their talents before the hometown crowd. As the fair comes to a close, Wood County community looks forward to next year, to the fair's celebration of a half-century.
Every festival has at least one big parade with lots of people waving. A band or two, a queen, and of course lots of food. But Bucyrus has something no one else does, and it's not just mascots named Bratty and Bratina. It's bratwurst, and lots of it.
Some people eat them plain, but sauerkraut and mustard's the best. That's the way I like them.
This town of 13,000 will pull in 150,000 visitors this weekend.
We bring in people from all over the United States and even some from outside the United States just to come to our festival and enjoy the get-together.
And they'll all be doing this. They'll eat 20 tons worth.
I like bratwurst. I'll probably have more than one, yeah.
Wonderful brats. Tastes so good. I love brats on the grill. I love them.
But you don't have to eat them here.
$11.57.
you can take a bunch with you.
Don't burn them now on the grill.
But you'll still never get your hands on the secret Bucyrus recipe.
We're proud of what we're doing. We don't want everybody else imitating us, you know. We want to keep what we have.
There are only a few places that make all this bratwurst, but it's the people that make the festival. Then again, let's not kid ourselves. It's the food. In Bucyrus, Marshall McPeak, Toledo 11 News, Night Watch.
For the 58th year now, people have gathered in Springfield Township for the rides and carnival atmosphere. But the big attraction here is
2 adult shortcakes and 2 ice cream.
Veteran festival goers like George Buck and friends have become connoisseurs of sorts.
The sweetness of the strawberries, and the sweetest strawberries are raised right here in Ohio.
But are they? This year's crop got a slow start in Ohio because of bad weather. The festival's supplier brought in berries from other states to supply the crowds on the first night.
Fortunately, Friday and Saturday's deliveries today did come from his fields. Sundays tomorrow will come from his fields. We think they're the best strawberries around, so we're happy that we're back in his loop.
You get them from California or Florida, they're nothing like Ohio strawberries.
They're not high in calories by themselves, but add sugar and whipped cream and other shortcake ingredients, and well, it doesn't worry Linda Wilson.
I'm not going to worry about the calories. Just going to enjoy myself.
And the festival earnings will allow Springfield Township's kids to enjoy themselves during the summer months. The past few years, this event alone has raised about $30,000 for summer sports programs at Community Homecoming Park. Phil Jones, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
The truth is, there aren't that many Greek people in Toledo, and tonight each show.
Say anything to me in Greek.
Not even the humor was Greek.
When the chicken crossed the road, why did she stop right in the middle? Because she wanted to lay it on the line.
As the evening progressed, the fact that you were not Greek did not really seem to matter. Tonight, everybody was Greek.
I'm German and Swede. Today I'm Greek.
What really makes this festival Greek is the food, and there's plenty of that to go around.
Souvlaki, pork as well as chicken. They have the pasticho and moussaka, which are casserole dishes.
And of course, gyros, with instructions on how to make them for the non-Greek staff. Some of these folks waited in line more than an hour to try them. And if you get the impression that good old American beer is an important part of this party, you'd be right.
Why do you come to the Greek Fest?
For the food, the fun, friends, beverages.
Not necessarily in that order?
No.
How much beer will you sell this weekend?
How much beer we're going to sell? A lot of beer.
A lot of beer and a few Greeks. Jim Taylor, Toledo 11, the News Channel.
We're just a few days away from the start of this year's Greek
Fest.
a
week and a half?
Yeah, right across the street. So location,
Exactly.
so important. Toledo has always been a blue-collar town. Labor unions are a way of life, and we all know that it's a Jeep thing because we're proud that we built it here.
Pride from union members. Our community has always been part of Toledo. And as Stephen Lattimore showed us in 1992, maybe a little celebration as well.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Riverfest's last bash of the summer is a goodie. Starting tonight, headliners in a variety of musical tastes will take the stage at 8 p.m. each night. Blues singer Coco Taylor hits the stage tomorrow, Spiral Gyra and Jazz on Sunday, and the Toledo Symphony on Labor Day. To kick it all off, rock in the sounds of Peter Frampton. In addition to giving Toledoans a chance to enjoy good sounds, part of the money from this weekend's event will go to the Children's Miracle Network.
They will receive some of the portions from this weekend's event, and that will certainly help them, and it will help City Fest as well.
Another plus, it will help breathe life into what would otherwise be a good day with nothing to do. Not to mention the boost to the area's economy.
It's generating money. It's putting money back into our city. That's the main vein.
What about the music?
Music's going to be great. It's been great from the time he created it.
There's also food and beer for those who want to wait. And then there's the people watching.
The food isn't as great as the men. It's not as great as the men.
Okay.
But they are hot. They are hot. But Peter is hotter.
With a lineup like this, you can't beat it. Rock, blues, jazz, and classical on Monday. And to top it all off, it's free. Stephen Lattimore, Toledo 11 News, Night Watch.
The vault that we did on music a couple of weeks ago just reminded me of all the money I didn't appreciate because I was younger. Now I do because I'm older, kids in college. But you start thinking about all the money that the city spent to bring in those headliners to play downtown. And just it's mind-boggling in today's terms to possibly pull something like that off.
Because that's how the market's changed.
Yeah.
You can't afford those guys anymore.
Right.
Peter Frampton in his prime, you couldn't afford him to come in.
No, and it's just astounding to think of all REO Speedwagon in the 90s and 90s version REO Speedwagon or whatever band we were.
I was amazed even the fact that we're over the shoulder of Frampton playing on a stage and getting any of his music. Now is like, no, you can't be around. Right. Because you can't even show this music on TV.
Right.
Anymore.
The hoops we have to go through in order to bring that kind of stuff to you. Well, have you ever, a question for you, have you ever found anything cool at a garage sale over the course of your life?
I will take the high road and say tools.
Tools? I will give you another T. I'll see you that T, raise you one T, and say toys.
Toys?
Yeah. Possibility of bringing those back home for the kids.
Okay.
So in 1997, toys like Beanie Babies, Super Soakers, and other things were on kids' wish lists. And Jim Taylor shows us how one man's trash could be another man's treasure.
I got TVs. I got a nice table set, and china cabinet.
Wherever you find a pack rat, chances are you'll find a yard sale. Steve Preston is having one and attracting more pack rats.
I have a tendency to keep what I want, and then I resell at a garage sale myself.
They're priced real reasonable, $25 for a color TV. And
for Steve, yard sales have become a way of life. He says he has one about once a month.
And if I find a TV or something, I repair it and, sell it, make money to take care of my family.
And that is exactly how garage sales and yard sales can become a problem. When people decide to turn their homes into a place of business, they can quickly ruffle the neighbors' feathers.
This house off Lasky Road was not open for business today, but neighbors say it has been almost every day for a month.
People just stop to go to the garage sale parking on the wrong side of the street. I've seen them even pull up on that side of the street facing the wrong way.
It disrupts the character of the neighborhood. It can do that,
Believe it or not, Toledo has rules about yard sales. The city's chief inspector says you can't have more than 3 a year. But unless somebody complains about a yard sale fanatic, chances are the city will never even know about it. So people like Steve Preston sell on.
What about this hutch up here?
I found that in the trash.
You found it in the trash?
I found it in the trash, and nothing wrong with it. Just needs maybe a coat of paint.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's still in the bylaws, City of Toledo, as far as the number of yard sales
It's
you can
funny.
have
I never heard that rule before,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people violate it, but really, who cares?
Right. What are you hurting?
Who's going to complain about something like that?
And who's going to police it, right?
Yeah.
That is it for this edition of the WTOL 11 Vault. We hope you have enjoyed this trip through the 90s.
We did.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single time we do this together. From puppets to the perfect garage sales that you can grab whatever you can.
Before we go, one last summertime classic. Going for a bike ride. Enjoy this trip with Lou Hebert. For Jeff Smith and our entire WTO 11 team, I'm Dan Cummins. We'll see you next time, right here on The Vault.
It was a bouquet of canvas and plastic that appeared overnight. A tent city, a moving city of 3,000 pairs of wheels.
It's a great Ohio bicycle adventure. It's called GOBA.
And a 7-day adventure with 3,000 close friends. If not at the start, then soon.
I mean, it's family. It's people are out for a good time and enjoying themselves.
From Columbus to California, these friends find themselves in Port Clinton tonight, resting up and drying out.
So all our sleeping bags got wet and the pillows, towels.
But we found out that rain doesn't dampen the enthusiasm of these cyclists, like 81-year-old Ross Hickman.
I put about 2,000 miles on a little folding bike, but before I started getting bicycles.
Never know you were going to get hooked on this?
No, I never thought I'd be hooked on it, but I am now.
And he is, at 5,000 miles a year, or 72-year-old Wayne Kencannon of California.
I rode a number of places in my life. I had a high-stress job, and I started riding bicycle, and it seemed to relieve a lot of things in my life, and I've become, I guess you might say, addicted to it.
There are all kinds of bikes in this bike city, all kinds of riders, and all kinds of reasons to ride them.
The scenery. I love, we've got really great scenery in Ohio.
Gosh, I don't know. I can't answer that question. Some people think we're fools. All Teresa's family think we're fools.
So what is the tough part of this adventure?
I think the toughest part is getting up the hills.
And what's the fun part of it?
Well, going downhill.
And by tomorrow, this traveling city will move on to a new lawn, a new horizon, and new hills to climb. Lou Hebert, Toledo 11, the News Channel.